Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Colorado Coach Prime continue the momentum in the transfer portal, landing one of the more coveted defensive backs available. And Preston Hodge coming over from Liberty. And you turn on some of the games and you look back at the numbers, you start to understand why Preston Hodge had offers from Texas A&M, from Auburn, from Texas Tech, TCU, and countless other Power 5 programs. Preston Hodge was one of the better defensive backs across the entire country last year. And what I like most about Preston Hodge, and we'll get into some of the production and where he might slot in to this Colorado defense, I love the versatility. Like looking at his snap counts, 457 snaps in the slot, 172 as a wide cornerback. You have 39 in the box as a box defender. Preston Hodge can slot in, play a lot of different roles in a defense. And one of the narratives that we've been talking about a lot in the transfer portal is being versatile, especially in the back end, having guys that can play that safety role, can play the nickel role, can go out wide and do a lot of different things is massive, especially in a modern day of college football, where as a defense, you're trying to give the opposing offense as many different looks and personnel groupings as possible. When you have a defender versatile like Preston Hodge, like that makes it so much easier. Really excited to get into Preston Hodge, talk a little bit about what Colorado is doing in the portal, who they're going after. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys and a special shout out to the Colorado fans. This has been just an absolute blast for me covering all these transfer portal additions, digging in and talking ball with you guys in the comments section. Can't thank you guys enough for all the support. The last couple of Colorado updates are some of the most successful episodes that we've ever had. So the amount of support you guys are showing the boys means a lot. If y'all do enjoy the updates, you enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into Preston Hodge, and let's start with the production, right? 8 passes defended, 2 interceptions, a forced fumble in the 2023 campaign. This is the number I have circled. Faced 74 targets in 2023 and only gave up 43 completions. That is less than a 60% completion percentage when targeted, had 11 forced incompletions. I'm not sure why opposing offenses were going at Preston Hodge as much as they were, but Preston Hodge was phenomenal, and he's extremely battle-tested. And that's one of the things that you probably appreciate most in cornerbacks, when you're getting a lot of work and you're making it very, very hard on opposing quarterbacks. And buzzing through the film, like some of the completions that he did give up, those are completions that he made extremely hard on the wide receiver to create separation and made extremely hard on the quarterback to make a good throw. And Preston Hodge is going to make it difficult for opposing offenses to pick on him, to go after him. And again, that versatility, I see him kind of fitting in that slot as that nickel defender, because you take a look at the secondary for Colorado next year. It's absolutely loaded, right? You have Travis Hunter, one of the best athletes in all of college football, playing one side. You hopefully have Kermani McLean, who's going into year 2. And there's not many coaches I trust more than Coach Prime to get Kermani McLean right as that other cornerback. So you got your boundary cornerbacks pretty set. And Preston Hodge is going to fit really nicely into that nickel role. And I think that's one of the more underrated positions in all of college football. And as a Michigan fan, we have one of the best in the game in Mikey Sandstrom. When you have the ability to have a guy in the nickel who is sticky and makes things hard on opposing quarterbacks in those short intermediate route trees, it's a massive asset. And you look at Preston Hodge, when you play that nickel role, you have to be physical in the run game because you're by the football. You're by the line of scrimmage. You take a look at Preston Hodge as a tackler, 9.3 missed tackle percentage. And that's one of the lowest I've seen from a cornerback. This is a guy that is not afraid to get his nose dirty in that run game, be physical, stack and shed blocks, and make tackles. Preston Hodge checking a lot of boxes, the versatility, the production. Really, really excited about Preston Hodge fitting in at Colorado. Now, I want to talk about 2 other additions that we didn't get a chance to talk about last time, so we're going to bust through them real quick. Keaton Wade, the Wade brothers, the twin brothers, coming over from Kentucky. I think the bigger addition here is Keaton Wade at that edge role. And this is a guy that you take a look at the numbers in the SEC in only his second year of college football. So this guy was doing it as a redshirt freshman for Kentucky last year, played over 350 snaps, 5.5 tackles for a loss, 2.5 sacks, gets it done as a pass rusher, right? 17 quarterback hurries and 11% pass rush win rate. Whether Keaton Wade is a starter next year or whether he's a depth piece, he's going to be a guy that is productive for Colorado. And a lot of the Colorado fans in the comment sections, I think, are spot on. Like, not only is it imperative for Colorado to be good in terms of your starting defensive lineman, but you got to have that depth to rotate guys in, to be able to withstand injuries. If you want to have the success that Coach Prime wants to have, and that is compete for Big 12 national championships, compete for college football playoffs, having that depth is massive for going through a 12-game season. Keaton Wade, again, whether he starts, whether he's in the two deep, is going to provide a ton of good depth for Colorado. And you look at probably the most impressive stat for Keaton Wade, and this is a stat that I don't think gets talked enough about: average depth of tackle. Like, where are you making your football plays? 2.6 yards down the field for a redshirt freshman in the SEC. That is a very good number. What's that telling you? Keaton Wade is making plays at or around the line of scrimmage. He's shedding blocks, and he's not really he's kind of winning at the point of attack, right? He's winning those blocks. He's getting off blocks, and he's making plays. So Keaton Wade, a really nice addition, whether he's a starter, whether he's a depth piece. This is a nice guy to have. And then you take a look at the twin brother, Destin Wade, who obviously is not coming in to start. We got our starting quarterback, but that was a conversation that a lot of people were having, is what's the depth around Shedeur Sanders? And obviously with the improved offensive line, Shedeur Sanders, knock on wood, he's staying healthy. But Destin Wade is a guy that big body, he's a big arm, whether he's the starting quarterback in the future or whether he's just in the two deep and being a backup quarterback, is a nice addition, because there are questions around who is going to come in and back up Shedeur Sanders. It sounds like Destin Wade is going to be a nice guy to have, and he's a big athlete, right? 6'3", 223. His twin brother plays that edge linebacker spot. You could see him working in some short yardage situations. Now, are you going to want to take Shedeur Sanders off the field that much? Absolutely not. But if you want to pick up that 3rd and 1, pick up that 4th and goal at the 1 yard line, and you have a big body quarterback that can maybe get it done, like, I'm very interested to see how they use a guy like Destin Wade. Taking a look at this Colorado class in 2024, and it's the same narrative we've been talking about. This just feels different in terms of the quality players that they are getting, right? Preston Hodge, a guy that had offers from a lot of Power 5 schools. And then you take a look at the guys already committed to Colorado. Will Shepard, one of the top SEC wide receivers in that conference last year. Matthew Bedford, a starting caliber Power 5 offensive tackle. Shaman Metor, a guy that can do a lot of different things, kind of a matchup nightmare at that tight end spot, and produced in a very big way at the Big 12 level last year. Khalil Benson, starting caliber Power 5 guy. Justin Mayers making that jump up from the group of 5, but like Preston Hodge, had a ton of Power 5 offers. And you keep scrolling down, Tyler Johnson, all Big 12 guy last year. Your Curry Walker, 900 snaps at UConn, only gave up 15 pressures last year. The quality of guys that they are bringing in, it just feels different. And you saw Coach Prime had a quote saying basically, last year we had to figure out where our holes were. We were just getting bodies into this program. This year, it's about addressing some of the holes that we have in our depth chart. Obviously, that offensive line, that defensive line, and they're getting active. Now, one guy I just want to talk about real quick, and we'll let you guys all go. He's on campus this weekend, and we talked about it. They have a couple guys on Houston on that defensive line that I like a lot. Chris McClellan. I dove back into the film a little bit last night. He is a very special interior defensive lineman. The development hasn't quite hit yet at Florida during those first 2 years. One, he's the type of body that Colorado wants up front. He's coming from the SEC. But more importantly, he's a guy that hasn't even scratched the surface of how good of a football player that he can be. So he comes into Colorado. Not only do I think he could be a quality starting interior guy on that defensive line, I think he could be a special defensive lineman for Colorado. Really excited to see if they can land Chris McClellan again. Plenty of other prospects on campus. And let's be honest, like when you get to Boulder, it is seemingly very hard to say no to Coach Prime and Deion Sanders. Really excited to see what comes out of this weekend. Wanted to hop on, do a little Colorado transfer portal update. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. Again, if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.